Welcome back to your next stop. This is Juliette Hahn. In this episode, I speak with Cynthia Zordich. You guys might remember Cynthia as the founder of NFL Thread. We also have our segment of YNS Live with NFL Thread. But Cynthia is a new author. She wrote a children's book called A Bee in a Matchbox. It is an unlikely friendship between her son's dog, Chucki, who is an Italian Mastiff, and a bee. And it literally unfolded in front of her eyes. And then she went and wrote it down. It took her like 10 minutes. And she takes us through the whole journey, how she found her illustrator. Now that they're out there, you can find them on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, and Pegasus is the publisher. It is this just really wonderful collaboration that came together because of this unlikely friendship between a bee and Chucki. So you guys do not want to miss this. You can find Cynthia at NFL Thread on all socials. You can also go to nflthread.com for information about the book. You can also go to Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and Walmart. And again, it's called A Bee in a Matchbox by Cynthia Zordich. Welcome back to your next stop. I'm Juliette Hahn, and I have a really special guest, Cynthia Zordich. You guys know Cynthia from my YNS Live with NFL Thread, but we are having her here because Cynthia is a new author. Welcome.
Accidental author, which is so exciting.
So if you are new to this and you're like, I don't know what she just said and I don't know what she's talking about, Cynthia is the founder of NFL Thread. It's like the LinkedIn for the women of the spouses at the NFL. Cynthia's husband, Michael Zordich, was a safety for 11 years, right, Cynthia?
Yeah, 12.
12 years.
Yeah,
12 years in the NFL. And then Cynthia has has done amazing things. You were episode 99. Isn't that crazy?
Oh.
You were my episode 99. So if you guys want to go back and hear, we're like, I think in 200 and some, and then with YNS Live with NFL Thread, we have, I think about 100. We have a lot of episodes, but so you can go back and kind of listen to Cynthia's kind of journey and why I had her on the podcast when we first, because of just this incredible entrepreneur spirit, but this incredible creative, warm heart, mind. Like Cynthia wants to help others as she's bringing people into what she's doing. Not only are you the founder of NFL Thread, where, we do events, you do events, Super Bowl draft, the Hall of Fame, where you bring the ladies together to network, show what they're doing. It's beautiful, beautiful. If you guys have not seen, you can kind of go to NFL Thread on Instagram. You can kind of see the stuff that we're doing, but you also are the editor-in-chief of the Playbook, which is a huge passion. That's been about 5 years, right?
I know. We're working on volume 6 already. I can't believe it.
And that's another one of your passions. And what I love is all of a sudden, I remember when you told me about this book, and it's called A Bee in a Matchbox. And it is by Cynthia. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. You can also get it at Walmart. And then you are published by, is it Penguin? You have to say it.
Pegasus Publishers.
Pegasus Publishers.
Yes.
But what I love about so much of this is it all started with Chucki, who you guys know is, you know how I love dogs. And so this is Cynthia's grand dog, right?
Yes.
But now kind of your dog.
Wait, I wish I could spin it. He's right there looking out the window.
He is this big Italian Mastiff?
Yes, Italian Mastiff.
And I've gotten to meet him a couple of times, and he is just a beautiful soul.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how it all unfolded, this gorgeous story of, this bigger than life dog and this bee?
Yes. It's funny because, of course, my kids laugh because I do adore Chucki. He is with me constantly, and I think I'm going to steal him someday. I think it's going to happen.
I think you already kind of did, but don't tell Alex.
I love all the dogs though, because all my kids have dogs. There's 6 dogs altogether. It's just that I just am with him so much, and he's just so funny, and he is so big. And so we were just kind of hanging out, and I was watching television. I was just, it's a hardwood floor, and I kept hearing this pouncing on the hardwood. And so I looked over and I was like, what is he doing? So he was playing with this little bee, but it was kind of big. It was a bee, and just tossing it in the air and then flopping down, and the bee was going everywhere. And I'm like, Alex, get in here. Look at Chucki, look at Chucki playing with this bee. And then all of a sudden his paw clipped the bee, and it took this spiral. And I was like, Alex, get in here. Chucki, here's the bee. Get in here. And so, Alex, everybody knows Alex. He's like this, one in the summers. we used to have to, like in the spring, the tadpoles would go into the swimming pool cover, and we would want to open the swimming pool every year. But Alex would scream that we would kill it. We were killing all of the tadpoles.
Oh, he's got a heart.
To bucket out the tadpoles and bring them into the backyard. And so in the summertime, in the fall, you would hear the frogs mating. It was like jungle in my house, the jungle, because he saved all these frogs. It was like we were killed with frogs. We couldn't even talk. We're like, what? Frogs, the mating sounds of the frogs were hilarious.
And I've heard the frogs. I mean, I've been there when the frogs.
You've been there.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. But yes, they are very loud.
He pulls over on the side of the road. If there's a dead animal, and gives it a proper burial. He, my aunt caught a mouse with a mouse trap, and it was stuck, and he literally took paw by paw of this little mouse to free it and like set it free. Like, he's crazy like that, and we just always have loved it.
Such a sweetheart.
So Alex like ran in, and he, I had matches on the coffee table with candles. He just threw my matches out of the matchbox, and he scooped the bee up and he put it in this little matchbox. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. That's like a little bed for the bee in the matchbox. That is adorable. So, so we left it at that. And we were watching the bee, and we were looking up how do you save a bee. And, we found out that it's with water and honey and flower petals. So we did this whole thing. So the next morning, I sat down to go to work, and something about this little thing that happened was just in my head, and I was like, damn, was that cute? That was just the cutest thing ever. What happened last night? So I just kind of wrote it down. And when I was done, I was like, this is like really cute. This is a really good story. But then it ended up having like a special meaning outside of the fact of what happened. Besides documenting what happened in front of me, it really did have a message. And the message was pretty clear to me. And like, I like to take things just for they are sometimes, but sometimes things hit you and it's like, wow, this was like a little gift. And sharing this message is really important. And really it was just about like that Chucki, was, everybody knows that a bee will sting you, and everybody knows that a big dog will bite you. And the two of them should never have been playing together, but they were. And the message was just clear that sometimes friendships are very unlikely, and sometimes that you make friends with somebody that you've been warned about, or somebody that you thought was different, or somebody that you were afraid of because of who they are, how big they are. Come here, Chucki. Because he's big. So I just wrote it down, and it is about unlikely friendships. Come up here. Come stay hi to Juliet.
Oh, hello, buddy. Oh my God. I love him so much. And he is a big heart. Like when I met him,
he's a big dog.
He brought me his football and we played, and he's just a big snuggle. And my listeners know I have boxers. And so big, kind of goofy dogs that are misunderstood. Yes. Sometimes they're misunderstood because they're so big, and he's got a big bark, and he wants to so people are like a little nervous, like, oh my gosh, this is a big dog. But he is right. Like just such a heart. So I love that you did this, and I did that.
And like in here, and then so
show it. Yeah.
So here's some. Wait, okay. There's so many wonderful illustrations. Wait, Chucki. Here's the book cover. Okay, now you're going to get down.
He's like, I'm getting up and
this is the paperback version, which is great, and there's a hardcover too. And I love that there's both. Because
yes,
but like this is one of my most favorite illustrations.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous. Because you had this, and then this is what I love about this. And this is also what I love about you, is that you are, he's yelling out the window at someone. But the thing I love about you is you have this creative drive. I mean, you really do. You are such a creative being. But then you're like, okay, how can I, what can I do next with this? This is an idea, but then you take it to the next level because others can enjoy it. And then you also are like, wait, I want to think of someone that can draw in it. And I want to give some of the opportunity to put pictures to what I'm thinking about. And that's what's so wonderful about you. I mean, that's how you got me involved in YNS Live with NFL Thread. We decided to do a podcast together, and you're like, you know what? Wait, I want to take you here and take you there. And I want to expose you to different things so you can see it. And that embodies who you are. I mean, your friends, all, your kids, you do that. And that's a beautiful thing about you. So I love that you put all of this down, right?
Yes.
And then you're
I
like,
love that you said that, because you do know that is my intention, for you to be the next Diane Sawyer. So I'm like, Juliet, you're coming to the Super Bowl, you're coming to the drafts, you're getting on, and you handle those interviews so beautifully. And people just love to talk to you, and you get right to it with them. And I do. I really see great things in your future. And that's why I was saying, yes, I'm not agreeing with what you're saying, but yes, I do. I did want to grab you. And when I did go on your podcast, I did leave going, wow, we could really do this. I love sharing stories about the NFL women. I love breaking those perceptions. And in a case, this is a similar situation. Chucky's big and people have a perception of what he is. Little bees sting, and people are just afraid,
Right.
And people sometimes, sometimes people think that NFL women sting. But they don't. They're just women, and they're just thrown into a situation. And sometimes when you go out, guys that are big, they just get harassed by other guys. The other guys get their chests up like they're going to want to mess with them, and they're going to fight. Right. Sometimes they're just like teddy bears, they're not necessarily.
A lot of times they are.
A lot of times they are.
Right.
Exactly.
And I love that you said that. And one of the things that we say, and we say it together, that stories connect us.
Yes.
And they really do. And I think that's so wonderful that, again, we bring these stories for the NFL. And you're right. Women in the NFL, men in the NFL, professional athletes, they have people put the story about them. And it's just like Chucki. There was a story, he's a big dog when you see him. I mean, you told me times, and the FedEx people dropping things off. Oh, there's this big dog. And he's just a big, goofy dog. And then when people are scared, a dog's going to react. And so, as you said, like a bee, right? You tell your kids, don't go near the bee. And then everyone's scared of bees and everyone's screaming with bees. So the fact that you were able to look over and watch him just kind of do this. And then also you have fallen head over heels. Yes, you love all your dogs, but because he's there and you're protective of him too.
Probably I feel that way about him, because I feel like I do need to protect him.
Right.
In situation, right?
Exactly.
So I mentioned that you say that in my on the website. Did you see that?
I did see that. That's so sweet. You did. And that's the thing. You always want to share your good fortune. And you are so wonderful at that. And you really, really are. I mean, that's one of the things. You're also, you're the president of Off the Field, which is the Off the Field Wives Association, which is the 501(c) for the NFL. And people know that about you. You're a safe space. People know that when you help, that you're truly helping. You do not have an ego at all. And all of the lives that you've had, all of the, the good fortunes, but as we always say, we all have trauma and we all have tragedy and we all have lives and we all have lived stuff. And you embody all of it. And where you kind of really and bring it out where you're like, listen, I see you. You let people know that you're seen and heard. And that's what people want. So, again, and I know you hate when I go and talk about all the good things about you, that's uncomfortable for you. So listeners, I know that's super uncomfortable, but I think it's really important as we're talking about this, because what you did is you sat down and then you called your sister Tina, right? And you wrote this
that's
book.
Why I'm really excited that you're going here.
Yeah.
Because Anna DeMalo, I mean, honest to God, and my sister, she's incredible. And, when I shared it with her, the story, she's like, oh my gosh, I have the perfect person for you to illustrate a bee in a matchbox. And that is so typical of my sister. And she's very much like that as well. She's always just reaching out to others, and she's so talented. And she has the reason I am excited about this is because my sister has a children's book inside of her, and so does my daughter. And so at first I was like, don't be mad at me when I tell you guys that I heard from a publisher, and this is good for you guys. This opens the door for you guys. And the books that I know that you have in here, and they're like, I'm going to kill you.
But it's so true though.
But in the end, my sister found Anna DeMalo, and she went to high school with you in Morristown. Mm-hmm. And now she's at Cape May. And from the very first conversations that I had with Anna, it was, she was lighting up the pages with color that I never even work with, and I didn't visualize it like that, but I always what do you see based on this story? What do you see? And so she took it to a different direction that I love, because it became this magic land, and there's one particular page that I want to show you of Anna's that it's just kind of, to me, it's my favorite. It's one of my favorites. But
yes, it's gorgeous.
This is the in the evening when the bee was recuperating and Chucki would not leave the bee's side. And Anna has the moonlight coming in, and the stars are in the window, the moonlight's shining in. And, it's just like at night, the big dog never left the little bee's side. And they talked about the life of bees and the life of dogs and learned so much about each other. And then she has like the little bee here in the Matchbox, and it says, and when it gets really hot, we hide underneath the daisy petals.
I love how she did that.
All about like their life. And like when we had these conversations and I would say, I want the kids to get lost in the page. I want them to find things that they didn't necessarily see the first time. And everything that we talked about, she'd go, oh, that's so cool. Yeah, let's do that. And then I can add this. So everything that we did was complete, like for her, just like joy. Like this is like, to me, total joy. That's just Chucki. It's a tornado of bees and happiness,
I mean, it really is such a special book. I mean, it really, really is. Again, you guys can find that everywhere. You can find it Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Walmart, and Pegasus Publishing is the publisher. But again, that's what's so beautiful. But one of the things that I want to talk about is that, like, you called your sister, right? And I want people to think about in their lives when they have an idea and who they go to, because your sister built you up. Right? Even though, yes, she has a book in her head, even though she doesn't know it, you could have a relationship with someone where they are like, well, you're not a writer. That's so dumb. And you leave it there. But you went to a person that always lifts you up. You guys lift each other up. And it's so important that people find that person. And some people don't. Some people really don't have that person that lifts them up. And it could happen. You have to open yourself up. You have to kind of give off the energy of, I want to do that too, because if you just keep yourself closed, you're never going to find that person that's going to help you. And if you would never do it for someone else, it's not going to happen to you. So the fact that you guys can support each other so much is beautiful. And I think it's something that everyone really should strive for, and kind of just opening themselves up. But I remember when you had said to you that you're like, I have this idea, I'm writing it down. I was like, oh my God, I love that, because you were also a take action kind of person. Because again, someone could come up with an idea and just be like, oh, I'm not a children's book writer. Now, you have written books in the past, so you are an author, but that doesn't matter. We all sometimes have these paths that we don't go down because we let limiting beliefs, or we let like our own, like, oh, I'm not good enough for that. I can't do that. And it's so important to stretch yourself and go out there. So, and to have these conversations. So you meet Anna, you speak with her, and then it's it's like, okay, then the book comes to life. Can you take us through the next stages out of that? And like, as you guys talked, how did that kind of look and work, the whole process?
Yeah, it was a long time, actually. It got to you just have to take your time, and make it right. And, like there was little things that, I wanted to like add, change. I never changed the text once. Isn't that crazy? I never changed one word.
And you did that so quickly. I love that.
It was 10 minutes. And I never changed one word. I sent it right to publishers right from there. I'm so happy that Pegasus took it and they recognized it as a story worth sharing. And for me, that was exciting because they're in the UK, and then Juliana is in the UK. So I looked at it like that was a little omen, because that's kind of neat. And then, of course, and they do a lot of their, like all of their connections to here in the US. So finding the publisher was really like, wow, somebody's interested. This is so exciting. I can't believe this is actually going to happen. And then from that point, it was like, find Anna and start getting the illustrations done. And that's when we had just conversations about, well, here's how I see this. And could you do that? And this how I envision this to be. This is how Alex, I want him to be. And this is how, like, recreating some of the scenes, actually, because it was like, this is how it happened. And she was just taking like things and making it like, I don't know, her spin on it was so magical. Like, it's almost like this magic land that she created with pinks and yellows and colors and everything. So, from there, getting all the illustrations done, Pegasus takes you from here you are with your producer, now you're in production. And then from there, they say, congratulations, you just finished. And now you're going to go on to publicity. And then you go into publicity. And then they just work with you from every phase, And I also have to mention that my daughter did the cover text font. I love her.
I love that. Yeah, I love that font.
And yeah, I love everything that she does like that. And she did the back as well. And so she did a fantastic job with that. So I just felt like, I got a little bit of everybody in there, and it was just, but really and truly, like with Anna, I say to anybody, if you have a story inside of you and that you would like to see it unfold and see somebody take it to that next level, I have it on my website for nflthread.com/being the Matchbox. I have all Anna's information that anybody can reach out to her. You can reach out for Anna. You can, see the information about the book. You can reach out to purchase the book or write a review. And you can also fill out a form if you have like a school or a library or a nonprofit and you would like to purchase a bulk amount. There's a really great price for that. And then you could price it at what you want and then possibly raise funds for your program. So I'm talking to the Philadelphia Eagles about something right now, which is great because they have an amazing initiative going on. So we're talking about, bringing in and being a Matchbox for their inclusion initiative, which is, I was like, yeah, that's perfect.
Right. I love it. And the thing that's also kind of fun is that you're a new grandmother. So the fact, and then and soon to be another, you have 2 grandkids right now, 1 on the way. And so also sharing your book, reading it to them. Is like, they're going to know, oh, this is Grandma, Nana Cindy, whatever they call it, this is yours. And that's so fascinating, but that also gives little kids hope too. Like, oh, I see what someone else has done, and they can see that right there because they're reading it, right? And it's like, oh, wait, my grandmother wrote this. And it gives people, your grandkids, your kids, the ability to dream and the permission to dream and the permission to say, you know what? I'm this age. It doesn't matter that I didn't do things at this age. We all have, there's a reason why we're here and there's a reason why we should do things. And again, it's that whole curiosity thing and just going out and kind of exploring. So like, what a beautiful message that you can also share with them, stories. You know how important stories are to me, and I know that they are to you. And when we started the podcast, one of the things that was really fun that you said, and now I just see this children's book with the pictures is, the stories are written and then we give voice to the stories. Now you even have something where you have the pictures to the stories. And so one of the things that I love about your book also is, I remember my mom always saying, and with my dyslexia, reading was tough. And so when little kids are looking at something and they say, oh, I can't read, but they can read pictures. So my mom would always say, there's 2 ways to read. People read 2 ways. You can read the words or you can read the pictures. And one day you'll read the words, but you start by reading the pictures. And that the illustrations that Anna did are so wonderful that even a little kid can sit there and look. And even if they can't read the words, they can put their own words to those pictures. And those were some of my favorite kids' books.
I didn't even think of that. Honest to God, photo for photo, you can just talk about what's happening. You can see it unfolding. Yes. I really do love that.
And I think it's important.
The part where I make Alex a villain. He's like, Mom, anybody knows I would never do that. I'm like, you need a villain.
I did it on purpose, right? To torture you. Well, and again, it's such a beautiful relationship, all of it, but it also just shows the heart. And I love how, as you said, some of your children are part of that, but really everything you do, you always kind of include the people that you love. And that is something.
Yes, whether they want to or not. Right. Exactly. That's the truth. You're right. You're so true. Like this weekend, of course, with Duns, and Duns is introduced.
They went to college. Yes, college.
Duns back in school, and God bless him. He is, one of the owners of 4-Star Restaurant Group, and they have, I think, 11 restaurants in Chicago, and one of them is Crosby's Kitchen. and it's all about kids. And so we are doing a signing in Chicago. I'm doing a signing and reading in Chicago at 3 Avenues Bookshop, which is right around the corner from Crosby's. And then we're going to head over to Crosby's afterwards. But they're doing this thing where if you bring your book to Crosby's, you get one of those skillet cookies, those hot.
Yum. Mm-hmm.
They're just, oh my God, ooey gooey skillet chocolate chip cookies with ice. So he's so excited, and so are all my friends so excited, and I'm excited. And so that's just and for me, that this little book is like it was seriously an accident, but or a gift, I should say, because to share the story and the message is probably why it happened, because I think right now in the world today, especially, the message is so important, and that is forge those unlikely friendships. Say hello to the person next to you. Just stop, whatever you're doing on your phone for a second and just look up and say hello, and you never know what it could lead to, and that's what the message really is.
I love that. And you know what? I'm going to end on that because that is beautiful. Yeah. I mean, really, that was such a beautiful way to say. And, thank you so much, Cynthia Zordich, for joining your next stop for the second time. And I know I'll see you on our podcast, YNS Live with NFL Thread. But you guys go and check out, you can go to NFLthread.com. You can also go again to Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, Walmart, and leave a review. Share it with people because you don't know who's almost having a baby, who needs to hear this story. Because as much as it's a children's book, it's also, as Cynthia said, it's a message. It's a message for all of us that we should really embody and go for it. So again, thank you for joining your next stop.
Thank you, Juliet. So appreciate you. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you. And you guys know what to do. Like, rate, review, and share. Share with as many people as you can, because again, you don't know who needs to hear this. We'll see you next week for another episode of Your Next Stop. I hope you liked this episode of Your Next Stop. Please subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and join in each week.